If forts are where Jaipur roars, then bazaars and palaces are where it really sings. Hey there, welcome back to my channel, The Bite Size Traveler. In the last video, we wandered through Jaipur's royal past. But today, we are flipping the script and diving headfirst into the buzzing heart of the Pink City. If you haven't watched my last video, what are you even doing? Go check it out for everything you need to know before visiting Jaipur. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a bite of this journey. For now, grab your coffee or chai and let's see what Jaipur has in store for us. I cannot wait. One of the best things about Jaipur's old city is how close everything is. Within minutes, you can go from gazing at the delicate honeycomb facade of the Hawa Mahal, Jaipur's Palace of Winds, to standing inside Jantar Mantar, one of the most fascinating astronomical sites in the world. And just across the way, the City Palace, still home to Jaipur's royal family. Jaipur's history, science, and culture stand side by side here. I decided to only admire Hawa Mahal from outside because honestly, that iconic pink facade is the main attraction. With its 953 tiny windows or jharokhas, it was designed so royal women could watch festivals without being seen. In the morning light, the sandstone almost glows. It's hard to look away. And if you look up, you'll almost always spot flocks of pigeons circling above the facade, swooping and scattering whenever the traffic below honks a little too loud. It's a scene that feels so alive. Just a short walk away is Jantar Mantar, built in the early 18th century by Maharaja Savai Jai Singh II. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and home to the largest stone sundial in the world, accurate to mere seconds. It's a must visit if you're even a little curious about time, stars, and how civilizations measured them centuries ago. Jantar Mantar has 19 different instruments to measure celestial bodies' position and time. The most special thing about Jantar Mantar is that it has the world's biggest sundial, the red sundial that you can see behind me. You can see how it scales compared to the people. There are so many people standing there. So it has an accuracy of the difference of 10 seconds from your phone time. Every day, there's like a calculation chart. It tells you the distance from the equator. So what is the difference that you will have to add to the time that is shown through the sundial? And so today it was 17 minutes. The time that I went there was 1:57. So it was showing 1:40. I add 17 minutes to it and the time becomes 1:57. It's pretty magical because the thing is super old and it was during the time where there was no sense of, clocks and mechanical thing. Behind me is another sundial, so huge. So this one, since it's bigger, it tells you the time with the accuracy of 2 seconds instead of the 10 seconds that we saw earlier. So this is the world's biggest sundial. I'm literally inside the sundial right now. It tells you the accuracy of time. It is like 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds difference. I guess that makes sense because the other one was 10 seconds difference and that was smaller than this. See this shadow there? That is the time. Tells you the time with the accuracy of 2 seconds. So it's just 2 seconds difference to your actual clock. Imagine in that time where the clocks didn't exist, This was a great way to show the time, I guess, and you had to build such a big clock. So sometimes I think we forget how luxurious our life is because literally now we can see it on our wristwatch or on our phone, versus then people were just like building 10 stories building to see the time. Here behind me there's like a statue which tells where my astrological body, since I'm a Leo, where that aligns. So you can, it's kind of like a sundial, but it measures the position of the astrological bodies. There's like one for every sunshine, and then based on that the astrologers can tell you where your planets are, what are the problems that you can face. You can align your planets, and they give you different remedies if you're gonna face some problems in the future, if you believe in all of that.
My tip: get a guide. The boards give you the basics, but to really understand the genius here, you need someone to decode it.
This place is really wonderful, and I would suggest you come here with your family and see it for yourself, because I don't think the pictures justify this at all. Since I'm done here, I will be heading out to City Palace of Jaipur. Apparently that's the main thing to do here. So let's see how it pans out.
And then there's the City Palace. Not just a monument, but the beating heart of Royal Jaipur's heritage. Step inside and you'll find sprawling courtyards, intricate peacock gates symbolizing the seasons, delicate Mughal meets Rajput architecture, and museums that showcase everything from embroidered royal textiles to massive silver urns, the largest in the world.
So after Jantar Mantar, I am here at City Palace. So there are two options with tickets. One is you can tour the palace itself, which is more expensive, 3,000 rupees, and even more for foreigners. But the second option is just to tour the museum, which I am doing. But you get to see the inside of the courtyards in the palace. So I think it's worth it for the time I have. Now, as you can see behind me, this is where the queen used to live. So since the queen were not supposed to sit with the king, they used to look at everything through these jharokas that are present behind me. Some of the residences places has been converted into restaurants. So there's also a restaurant which you can go and sit and eat, which is pretty decent.
The Mubarak Mahal welcomes you with the costumes and fabrics once worn by the royals, while the Armory Museum gleams with swords, daggers, and ornate shields. What makes the palace extra special is that it's not frozen in time, it's still very much alive. The Chandra Mahal remains the residence of Jaipur's royal family.
Palace always hosts two flags. One is the flag of Rajasthan, which is just the state flag. And then another one is a flag, which is a smaller flag, which indicates that the king is present in the palace at the time. So this courtyard has 4 gates. Every gate is so beautifully made, and it is made with the patterns of something that represents the season. It is absolutely beautiful to look at. There's some construction going on for repairs, which is unfortunate.
And here's something that you might not know. The palace is also a Bollywood and a Hollywood favorite. Its grand hall and vibrant courtyards have been the backdrop of countless movies, from Bollywood's epic like Bajirao Mastani and Bol Bachchan to international films and even music videos. It's one of those places where history, culture, and cinema beautifully collide. Also, quick tip: if you are planning to see multiple attractions in Jaipur, grab a composite ticket. It saves both time and money. and covers major sites like the City Palace, Jantar Mantar, and Hawa Mahal. From here, it's barely a 2 minutes walk to the next stop, but Jaipur Street have their own way of slowing you down. Case in point, Lakshmi Mishthan Bhandar or LMB. Founded in 1727, this legendary sweet shop is woven into Rajasthan's culinary history. Their ghevar, crispy, syrup-soaked and honeycomb-like is the festival favorite. But me, I'm a pyaz kachori girl. I don't always crave sweets and this flaky, spicy snack hits the spot every time. And if you have the time, their restaurant serves some of the best traditional Rajasthani meals you'll find in the city.
It used to be a sweet shop, but now it has converted into a huge food chain in Jaipur. So I had to come here and try their special things that they offer. Although I'm not having the special thali, but the pyaz kachori and rasmalai here are famous. We also ordered something to eat because I've not had lunch. So we'll see how good it is and if it lives up to its reputation. Finally, I had my food and now I'll be roaming around Bapu Bazaar trying to explore the local art and architecture and maybe do some shopping.
Stepping back outside, the streets buzz with colorful fabric and those iconic Rajasthani puppets swaying in the breeze. Bapu Bazaar is a shopper's dream. Block printed fabrics, silver jewelry, handmade jutis. It's lively, and yes, shopkeepers will call you in for a chat. And honestly, that's half the fun. Strike up a conversation and you'll discover the stories behind what's on display. The bargaining dance becomes less about haggling over price and more about building a connection. Learning how every item here is not just a merchandise, but a piece of someone's craft, history, and pride. That being said, do not get overwhelmed by the people in the shops calling you, and remember that you can always walk away and say no. After shopping, I wanted to end the day at Patrika Gate. But leaving the old city is its own adventure. Jaipur's historic wall means there are only 4 main gates in and out. At rush hour, it's a bottleneck. My ride crawled forward through honking rickshaws, motorbikes, and food cart gliding past me. My 2 cents are leave the old Jaipur city before the rush hour, that's 5 pm. That way you can avoid the work traffic. So, finally, when I arrived, the sun was set and Patrika Gate was glowing in soft golden light. From the outside, it's striking, but walk through and you are surrounded by hand-printed archways, each telling a piece of Rajasthan's story. Royal processions, festivals, palaces, desert life. It's like stepping into an illustrated history book. It's so beautiful.
Patrika Gate is in Jawahar Circle and it is one of the newer gates in Jaipur. Sorry for my voice, it's not doing too well, but I need to shoot this video for you guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So Patrika Gate is one of the newer gates that was recently constructed, and since it was constructed, it has become one of the major tourist destination, and especially for photos and videos and pre-wedding shoots and Instagram, because it is really pretty. The motifs here are incredibly beautiful and the color, I'm here during night but still I can see so many different colors. During the daytime it's even more beautiful because it's all shades of pink and blue, very pastel, very Jaipur. Definitely add it to your list. One disclaimer though is there's not much to do here in the area, and it's just a park other than the gate. So if you're interested in just seeing the beauty of this gate, you can come here. But other than that, it's just sitting here and relaxing. So it really depends on your personal choice.
Just in the same park is the Toran Dwar, gateway of Rajasthan, is modern, clear-lined and perfect visual in contrast to Patrika Gate's traditional artistry. Standing between the two feels like standing between past and present. To wrap up the day, I made my way to Tapri Ashram, a cafe beloved by locals for its chai. The vibe here is warm and bohemian. Wooden furnitures, shelves filled with books, and soft lighting. Their menu is Maggie Heaven, classic masalas, cheese burst, and smoky tandoori, and many more. I went for the masala Maggie with a steaming cup of chai served in traditional clay cup that somehow makes it taste even better. If you know, you know. I found a seat by the window. Jaipur's skyline was slowly lighting up, and that's when it hit me. My solo Jaipur trip was coming to an end. I had done it. I had navigated the chaos, explored the beauty, and learned how to sit in my own company. And I was more than okay. I was content. This trip reminded me travel isn't just about checking sites off a list. It's about the quiet moments between them, the chai breaks, the street side conversations, the stillness you feel in the middle of the movement. Jaipur is palaces and painted gates, yes, but it's also the feeling you take back with you. If you have ever doubted whether you should take that trip, especially as a woman traveling alone, let this be a sign. Stay curious, stay open, and trust the journey. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments which part of Jaipur would you visit next. And also mention the spots that I missed to cover in this video. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for more updates from me. There is a lot of awesome content coming next. For now, this is your bite-sized traveler signing off for today. Keep exploring and see you in the next one.